What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Reality Scrapyard on the Reality After Show. I am Chad, and joining me is, of course, my trusty co-host, Michael Rear. Hello.
Hello, super excited to be here. Another great week of Survivor. I'm really loving this season, Chad.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a very open race, at least in my opinion, as to who's going to win. I don't think it's just a one or two horse race here. I think there's a few contenders.
Yeah, absolutely. No, where do I begin? First and foremost, Chad, do you have a good week? You doing good? You ready? You ramped up?
Yes. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better from last week when I was like deathly ill. So I feel better. I feel like I sound better. I am ready to provide all of you top-notch podcasting content. But it's been a good week. How's it been
Yeah,
for you?
good. I think I'm just looking forward to a lot of stuff. Chad, guess what? I mean, it's
What?
been great talking about Survivor, but Traitors is coming soon. We got cast
I
photos.
I know. We got cast photos. They all look awesome. I mean, Boston Rob looks like he bought that suit at like a Kohl's, but the rest of them are looking very, 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 very classy here, and I'm excited for that. And everyone, I guess we'll just say it now. We will be bringing you Traders content. Maybe we'll do a Scrapyard Traders ranking.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, no, super stoked about that. That's coming up here
I would
soon. But
definitely we definitely got to do a cast assessment for that.
yes, I think it's going to be interesting because, I mean, what's cool about Traders is there's a lot of reality shows that I don't watch, and I get to learn about
Yeah.
new people. So I do like if I don't know somebody, I will YouTube them and like highlights or something, just to like
Mhm.
get in my Real Housewives kick, I guess.
I was gonna say that's pretty much, yeah. You just got to get in the real Housewives mindset, which I am not an
Yeah.
avid Housewives watcher, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
But
So
last
there's
season of Traders was really good.
Yeah, there's three ways to get on Traders. It's be on a competitive reality show like Survivor or Big Brother. It's to be on just a regular reality show like Housewives, or it's being Zac Efron's brother. Those are the three ways.
Well, I mean, you could also be a washed up athlete or a random member of parliament. Those are also some random curveballs that they throw at you. Nikki Bella from WWE is on this season.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know who that. Yeah,
So
that's your expertise. That's your
yeah,
roadhouse
otherwise known
there.
as Nikki. I think Nikki Garcia is her actual name and what she's going by on the show. But that's Nikki Bella, a former WWE diva, former reality star in Total Bellas, and also a former AGT judge.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was a judge on one of those like weird like America's Got Talent spin-offs where they're like America's Got Talent Summer of Champions, and they just bring back like this guy won America's Got Talent in like Switzerland, and this guy won
Yeah,
it in like Saskatchewan, and it's like, and then it's
he
like
can juggle
some people who are,
chairs.
yeah, on fire. But most of them can just sing really soulfully.
Yeah, see, that
Um,
is not my
so
wheelhouse of reality TV. So, but
I've seen a lot more of America's Got Talent than I think I would be comfortable admitting.
really, see, I've got some weird ones like that like I obsessed over. So you think you can dance? Like I don't,
Ooh,
I've never watched any dancing show, but that one I stuck to.
I was more of a Randy Jackson's Top Dance Crew. That
Oh
was my
my
dancing
God, I
reality
remember that.
show.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
that was my dancing reality show. And I used to watch America's Got Talent and American Idol like religiously back in
Yeah,
like 2000 and like 8, 9, 10. But I haven't watched either of those shows in a very long time. So I
yeah.
have tuned into The Masked Singer every now and then though.
Oh, really? And that's a good show.
Yeah, it's a show. It's a show. I mean, it's something I can
Okay.
definitely put on, and time gets passed while watching it.
Okay, well, Chad, let's talk about the titular reality show, the best reality show, Survivor.
Yes.
Well, what did you think about
Yes.
this week?
I thought it was another really good episode. And I thought it was once again. I think we are right. I think the person who is number one in our power rankings may be number one again. This week. Gabe is, or sorry, not Gabe. The Andy train keeps on moving, and the Genevieve train gets a little weakened every single week. And now, where does the teeny fall into all of it? I'm excited to hear what your opinions are on it. What did you think of the episode?
Yeah, I think it was good. I will say one thing I'm picking up, especially in this post merge. I think the best way to describe it is this is a very binary game, right? They're thinking of
Mm-hmm.
it just very numerically, right? And I feel like more so than any of the other New Era seasons, we have this three tribe dynamic where it's almost like corporations working together, where they're like, okay, well, you have a little too many people here, we're gonna cut one off, right? Like it just seems very like paint by numbers, which is interesting. I will say I feel really vindicated. And Chad, like, I mentioned last week I'm horrible at taking notes, but I think we've been pretty on the ball. I mean, I
Our
want to pat
fingers on
myself
the
on the back.
pulse
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
season. Yeah, I think so too.
The fall from
We've
grace for Genevieve is going to be a big one, I
Yeah,
think. And
it's
yeah,
it's crazy. And she's in a weird spot right now where I feel like she did that thing that everyone falls victim to. She made that big move too early. I think if she would have waited a week or two to get rid of Soul, I think she would have been a little bit more lined up to take this to the end. But she made herself way too big a threat a little too quickly, and I guess I thought she was in a better spot that she would be able to overplay a little bit, but then still kind of rely on those allies that she's made. But unless I'm like miswatching it, in my opinion, she hasn't really done a good job of really making a lot of those allies feel super safe. I mean, I know her and Andy appear to be close, but Andy seems to be close with everybody. So I don't really weigh too much into that. If you tell me you're Andy's ally, I'm just going to be like, yeah, all of us are. That's
yeah.
sorry, sister. So I don't really know, but I feel like she's definitely got some ground that she's gonna have to make up moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I think let me ask you this. Here's a big question on the top of my mind before you know, what do you think about the worm challenge in
Oh,
Survivor?
I love that challenge. I
Yeah,
love
you
that
big fan?
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. You look silly. You push a ball up a hill. I would just be headbutting it like this,
Yeah.
probably while like magic carping into the sand. That would probably be what I would do. What's your strategy? What's your approach to this?
I mean, I don't really have a strategy. I will say I do like this competition in that, like, it's just so, like, you see somebody like Sam who seems like a decent athlete in general, right? They're just going to crush these things. And then you present them with, well, now you have to act like a worm, you know? And I feel like that completely changed. And of course, Sam crushed it still, anyways, but I just like that concept. I will say, it's like, do we need to do the worm competition every other season? Or can we just, like, come up with other quirky things, you know? Like, can we think about, like, there's what about the foot stacking one? Kind of like that gimmicky, like kind
Yeah,
of ridiculous. I love that concept, but are there new ones that we can try out? Can you think of anything?
I love. I love the foot stacking idea. That was a fun thing they did. They did in like Samoa. I don't know if they've done it in another season. They probably have, right?
I
Didn't
think
they
that one
do
of
it
the
in
blood
like
versus
Second
what
Chances
San Juan
or
del
Blood versus
Sur.
Water? One of those. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was one of those. But that'd be a fun one to bring back. I like the little snake challenge. I also like the challenge where they had to drag that actual like snake thing across the obstacle course, and it was
the
super heavy.
geckos
I
from last.
yeah,
Yeah.
remember that one challenge where they had to like bounce a ball on like a pot, and they had to like see who could go the farthest while bouncing it. That's a challenge that's like stupid that they could bring back. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent in more food challenges. We need more
Yeah.
food eating challenges. We need at least one a season. I think
Well,
that's
we got
that's a
one
great
kind
way to.
of with the
Yeah, but we need
octopus.
a we need more though. I want like the entire thing to be you're eating bad food today.
Just that be the episode, the theme of the yeah. Just
To the theme of the challenge anyway. Like,
yeah.
yeah, this is and find a way to make it an immunity challenge. Like, you're
Okay.
all gonna vomit and then go to tribal council.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. There. So what about another moment in the challenge here? We got like it's just something about like I don't care what it is, but the way Survivor's been doing the slow-mo, it works for me. I love all the slow-mo shots, and especially in scenes that absolutely do not need slow-mo shots, like Andy biting a volleyball, right?
Yeah.
I love
Like,
that. I thought that
it makes
was
it feel so epic.
yeah, exactly. It makes anything
Yeah.
look awesome. So
Big Brother should do that. If Big Brother just took itself more seriously, like Survivor takes itself more seriously, and they did like some close slow mo shots. You're doing an endurance comp, and you just see someone like spit in slow motion as they're hanging by a like. It's just the subtle things like that. Like I'm
yeah,
all about it. It was really good. I thought this whole challenge was pretty good, and let's talk about Kyle here. That guy.
yeah,
That, that,
yeah.
that, that guy might just tie the record. I don't know if he'll break the record. That would be a big task. But
Yeah.
I think he has at this point in the game. We're still early. I feel like he definitely has the potential um, to at least tie that record.
Yeah, and so the current record is five, right? I think there's multiple
Yeah,
people tied for five. For
yeah.
men,
It's
yeah.
yeah. For women, I believe it's 4.
Okay.
Yeah, but there
So
are
I
still
mean,
multiple women tied for that record too.
do you like Kyle? Is Kyle doing it for you? Part of the character? Is
He's
this like the
he's
chit
okay.
chat? You
I
love
mean,
him?
he's the he's a challenge guy. I don't. I think if he doesn't win out, I think he's gonna go home. I don't think he's a very good strategic player, but I think for the character he is, which is just the brawny challenge guy, I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I guess if you say so.
You don't
He
seem like
did.
a big Kyle fan.
I haven't been. I will say we got a little bit more strategy from Kyle this week, which I appreciate. It seems like he was willing to cut bait a little bit quicker than I would have expected him
Yeah,
to. So yeah, what
yeah.
did you think about
He came
losing? Yeah,
after
sorry.
he came after Gabe quickly, and at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's crazy." But then like Gabe, the next episode, the next like scene was like him being like, "Yeah, I think Kyle might come for me here. I should get rid of him." And I was like, "Turning on each other."
Yeah, and I think that's what I mean
Um,
by binary in this season. It is just like it very much like two people are going to have the same idea at the same time because it is the logical time to have that idea, and yeah, just that's the logical thing. This isn't Survivor, 46 where people are just doing wild and crazy things. Like everything makes sense.
yeah, these are logical moves that are being made, unlike Q just voting out whoever did really well in hide and seek.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. This is a
um,
different season.
Another thing too. Sorry to jump around. Did you hear about what they're doing for the finale this year?
I kind of heard. I know it's different. Do you want to explain it for
Yeah,
everybody?
I want to make. I don't. I mean, from what I've heard, and I haven't looked a lot into it, but I believe what I saw from like people on Twitter that they're breaking the finale into 2 parts. One week will be episodes. Will be the sixth and fifth place boots, and then the finale will be fourth on, and it's supposed to be a part finale. And I'm over here like,
Wait, the final four,
yeah. I'm
a
just like,
final four finale episode.
that's just a Final Four finale. Like, that's what are we doing? Like, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean that's how they used to do it.
Part one is 5 and 6. Okay,
Yeah,
so part one is just a double boot order before the penultimate season finale. That I
yeah.
just thought it was a really weird. They were making it seem like it was like this wild thing, and it was like that's how they used to do it. Like, what are
Do
we
you
doing?
do you think? And I don't know if we would have known this by now. I don't think we would have, maybe. But do you think there's any changes being made to the end game that would affect this,
What
like
do you
doing
mean?
away with fire making, possibly?
I mean, they seem to really like fire making.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Would they? Would they? Would it surprise me if if they got rid of it? It would. Um, and also, like, what would you replace it with? Are you just going to do what you used to do and just do an immunity challenge and then like I don't know. I don't think they'll ever get rid of fire making, but who knows? That'd be crazy. That would definitely be something that I would not see coming.
Yeah. maybe it's wishful thinking, but it seems weird. It seems like something must have happened to prompt this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you definitely don't just like announce it like the way they did without like doing it for a reason. So like maybe something crazy did happen. Who knows? But I'll tell you what, I can't wait to tune in and find out.
There we go. Yeah, we'll be there
Yeah,
for sure
and
with
we'll be
bells on.
there. We'll be. I will literally be in Fiji next to
Yeah.
Jeff as he reads the
Okay.
votes, and I'll say, "Bring in the pizza." Bring in the pizza. We're still not doing live reunions, huh? All right,
Yeah.
bring in the pizza. Bring in the drinks. So
So
how's
let
the guy
me
who just lost doing? Oh, pretty bad, huh? Yeah, it's because you just lost $1 million. Enjoy your pizza
Mhm.
though.
Exactly. Um, Let me ask you this: would you give your shot in the dark up for Rice?
Ooh, I
Let's say
think
you're
if
in
the entire
Sam's
group,
position.
if I'm in Sam's position, I think if the entire tribe was like, yeah, let's do it, and Jeff said, if everyone does it, we get rice, and if we, I don't want to be the only reason why we don't. So if there was like a couple people who are a little more like, I don't know, maybe I'd be like, yeah, I don't really feel great about doing that. But if it was just everybody who said, yeah, let's do it, I would say, okay, let's do it. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to be the only reason why we don't get rice. So
Here, my
I
thought
also,
process is: I mean, most people don't benefit from the shot in the dark. Obviously, most people don't play it in general. Um, I think Andy had the right idea early on where he offered to give his shot in the dark up to Sierra because, in my opinion, that little dice isn't going to go far for you in the game, but the social connections are. So I think whenever you get the opportunity to leverage a shot in the dark is a good idea. Leveraging it with food is a different story. I
yeah.
think Sam had to go along with the group, obviously. Like, he didn't want to be the guy to piss everybody off. But, I mean, it seemed like multiple people were regretting this choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a weird season as far as shot in the darks. Like we're definitely seeing people figure out ways of doing them other than hoping you get lucky and it saves you, which it usually never does. But as far as like using it to see if you should play an idol, using it to as a bargaining chip for rice, like these are all fun ideas. I don't know what else you could do with a shot in the dark. I feel like other than like wagering it as like a bargaining chip of like do this and I'll give it to you. But I don't really know what else you could do. Do you feel like they like the shot in the dark? Do you think they're like, yes, give us more of this? Or do you think production is like, this is not what we wanted to use the shot in the dark for?
I don't know because I feel like we already got the best that the shot in the dark can do, which was save Caleb. And then from there, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I mean, I mean, statistically, that's not going to happen very often. Is it worth having all of this muddying the game for a cool outcome every 3 seasons or something? Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The shot in the dark has always been kind of a nothing thing for me because it's been so just like unlikely that it works. Um, but I don't know. It's just another thing that I don't think is going away. So we're just gonna have to just do our best to move around it. But yeah, who knows? Maybe this is the season. Maybe someone. Well, I guess it can't be this season because I don't have it anymore. Maybe season 50, someone will save themselves again. Maybe Caleb will save himself
Again, and yeah, there we go.
again. Wouldn't that be crazy? Do you think he's on season 50?
Probably not.
I feel like he's. I feel like recency. I feel like he'd be
I,
asked
I'm
back, right?
I'm kind of in the camp of that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of new era players. If there are a lot of new era
Hmm.
players, I think he's in the mix, but I think half at best will be new era players. And is he in the top half of new era play? Like, I mean, come on, think about like the stars that we've had. I mean, the Shans, the Ricards, Marianne's, the Jam Jams, Carol. I mean, come on, like there's just so many people. It's hard to. I, I don't see
Yeah,
it
and then it's like, well, will they bring winners back? Will they not? I don't know what the hell they're gonna do for season 50, and I'm not even gonna pretend to know like I know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a
But I
different
think he's got a
podcast.
shot. I mean, he's the only person to ever successfully use a shot in the dark. Like
I
that's
guess
cool.
so. Yeah, I guess they would
That's
like that.
that's historic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's historic.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's a big thing that happened in the modern era. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think there's definitely some people who could be in the mix to be on season 50 out of this cast. And as we
Really?
enter our Scrapyard power rankings, Mike, I want you to think about who you think would be a contender to be asked back for season 50. That was just my way of segueing to the
Okay.
list. But
So
now I'm giving you homework.
now I'm like, do I go to the list or do I tell you who I think is most likely to play against? Put Sue on. I vote Sue.
Ah, nice. Sue's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Makes
But all
sense.
right. I think I started us off last week, so I think you are up this week as to start us off.
I am up, and I don't think this changes from last week. Kyle's on the bottom for me. I
Yeah,
gave him a little bit more grace last time. Winning the additional one, this feels like the nail in the coffin. They cannot let him
even
go by
though
another one.
even though you said it yourself, he seems a lot more strategically savvy this episode. He's not. You don't think that this could be the start of him starting to turn the page as far as being a physical and a strategic threat?
You absolutely, it could totally happen. I think that's what's so interesting about the new era. I think we even discussed it a little bit. Is the edit wise, you really can't predict these winners. Like it's just not the traditional wins that we're used to. It reminds me of Erica, somebody that like Erica doesn't have like a whole lot of game, and then she comes alive in the finale, and that's all it really takes to win the game in the new era,
Yeah.
as far as edit wise.
It's still incredibly early, and I think a big thing about Survivor is I think if you have time to really craft and know when you're sitting at the end what your Survivor journey was to get there, and it sounds matter of fact and like concise, I feel like you have a better shot at presenting your case because I think it sounds more you just sound more confident, and that sounds like a more solid. And I feel like somebody like Kyle, whose path to the end will be winning challenges. I feel like if he gets there, he's got that route, right? That path of what did I do to play this game? You all saw it. I didn't lie to anybody. I simply dominated you all physically, and it got me here. And I mean, do I think that alone wins you the game? I think it really depends on who you're sitting next to. But I think if he sits next to some people who have a lot of enemies on that jury, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle was able to make some noise. But that being said, he has to get there first, and I don't know if he'll win out to get there. But I'm interested to see. But I don't have a problem with ranking him last here on the ranking, as I also had him ranked here as well. I like Kyle, but I just feel like he has a very uphill battle to climb.
Okay, interesting. Well, that leads me. I'm really curious what your next choice is. If we're simpatico on the first one, are we on the next one? Who do you have
My
next?
next one is Sue.
Oh, okay. I was not my
Yeah.
next one.
Her and Gabe were close. Gabe is now gone, and I feel like that is, we've already seen that Kyle is one of the and her are gunning for each other, and I feel like if Kyle is on the bottom, he's gonna try to get the votes on somebody who he'd be most likely to vote out, and I think Sue has a lot of good connections with people in this game, and so I feel like if Kyle was able to get like an Andy and get a Sam and a Teeny or even a Genevieve, I feel like you could get Sue out at this point. And so I feel like to save himself, he could offer her up as an alternative if he does not win immunity. Now, Sue is no slouch in these immunity challenges either. I mean, she's always right there, and she has really surprised me as far as her performance in the game. I feel like she's gotten really good socially with some people, but I feel like she is kind of blindsided by just getting Kyle out. And I feel like she's not really focused on anything else in this game. And I feel like that will come around to bite her.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, no, I wasn't really sold on it until you laid it out like that. I will say, uh, I think she probably gets the upper hand. I think the big issue that I have with putting her this low, it's the same thing that happened with Sam and Sierra. Now that Gabe's gone, are people really going to waste their time coming after Sue? Is Sue the biggest threat? I think losing Gabe takes Sue's power away in a lot of people's eyes. And that's the only thing that would
Yeah.
make me think that she might be pretty safe here. But you make great points too. So, yeah. I can go to the next person on my list. And this
Yes,
was
please do.
quite the fall from grace. This was actually my second to last, but it will now be third to last. Genevieve. I mean, all eyes are
Oh,
on Genevieve. I don't think there was
oh,
one person.
she's. We've made her an Icarus. She's flown too close to the sun. Oh,
Literally,
yeah.
yeah.
Listen. I don't hate it. I feel like second to last is a little low. Maybe people will agree that Sue should be higher up too. But I feel like while she hasn't played the best these last 2 weeks, I feel like I think third on our ranking, at least from the bottom. I feel like 8 is a good spot for her, or not 8. You know what I'm saying? Third from the bottom is a good spot for her. And you have to ask yourself, what does she do now? What is
Yeah.
your move if you're her? Do you try to reconcile with Teeny? Do you try to fix that? Because Teeny seems pretty done with you, to be honest. Teeny seemed very gutted by the betrayal, and I don't know if they'll be able to recover from that. So I don't know if you can count on Teeny moving forward. And Teeny and Sam seem to be working together based off of necessity. And if Sam is able to rally these troops that he's trying to build, she might be actually doomed, because if she doesn't have them, she doesn't have anybody in this game, and everybody is astutely aware of her threat level. So yeah, maybe what does she do? What would you do? What do you think she needs to do to keep herself around?
I mean,
Win immunity?
it's what she should have been doing from the get go. It's almost impossible to reverse at this point, but she needs to like go lay in the shelter for like 18 hours, right? Like you want to be out of
Yeah,
sight of like basically at this point, Genevieve's best chance is just keep waiting for people to shoot themselves in the foot. I think Genevieve has a
yeah,
good case to throw people under the bus like Kyle next week. Like she has cases to move forward, but I don't see the path to the end right now. And you're just gonna have to keep hoping that the next biggest head is gonna pop up. Right now, it could be Kyle, and then maybe
yeah.
Sue, maybe Sam. Just keep that target in front of you. Otherwise, I don't feel great about Genevieve.
Yeah, the Eliminator of Soul has her work cut out for her. Speaking of Soul, I loved that jury fit he had when he walked in.
Oh my
He he
god!
lit, he looked like he looked like he was about to like put on a rock concert. Like he looked awesome.
It's not like I can't even describe. Like what is it? It's almost like Miami nightlife, but
Yeah.
your Uber's late, you're standing in the rain, but it was a good night anyways.
Yeah, it's like a Miami like nightlife like shirt, but then also like you just played a show in front of a sold out capacity crowd, and you just shredded on air guitar. Is like he that was a whole vibe, and
Yeah,
it made me wish Soul was still around.
I should have
That
wore
was
just a
that was it.
vest
That's all
for
I
the
wanted to say
podcast.
on it. But I thought it was a good look.
Yep.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
Okay. Well, who do you have next in your
We should we
ranking?
should do we should do an
He
off-season
said,
ranking
no,
on
we're not
best
staying on
juror.
topic.
We should do an off-season episode on best jury fits. Like,
Dude, that's a good
Philip
idea.
Philip showing up with just a feather has to be on
Uh-huh.
there. I feel like Coach has had some pretty good ones.
What did the general wear in Marquesas? Like full on
Oh
denim
my
or something?
gosh,
Yeah, there's some good ones.
that's a good question. All right, put that in the chamber for
Yeah,
a, for
load her
a,
up.
for a later episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
But back on track here. Moving on. I think. Yeah, I don't know what Genevieve's gonna do. She has herself an uphill battle. But moving up our rankings, we have. And you may disagree with this. You may think that this person is a little too low. But I'm going with Rachel.
Okay, interesting. No, I don't hate it. I think Rachel is getting some, unnecessary attention. So, yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about it. What do you think?
Exactly that. I mean, I feel like she's one of these players that are very um up front of things, and I feel like she is kind of both using Sam as her number one ally, but also kind of like, at least she was trying to separate herself from him a little bit, and I don't know if that has worked out, and now I don't know if she can afford to do that because I feel like Sam is rallying the troops here, and I feel like she's got a nice little path here. However, I do think that she is one of those people who, because her name has already been kind of said and she's kind of already a presence, especially as a way to kind of save herself. I could see Genevieve trying to get rid of Rachel here. I don't think she's going to be able. I feel like if someone targets this new upcoming alliance that I think is coming, I think she'll be one of those people who will be targeted, especially if people get wind of that idol.
Yeah. I will say, I think that Original Yellow next week becomes what was last week's Original Blue, where they look at them as a very, I mean, now that you look at it with Sue and Kyle coming after each other, that's the most united group. There's obviously like some trust issues between
Mm-hmm.
Andy and Rachel, but we see them come together a little bit. Same with Sam and Rachel, but we see them come, like I do think if you're on the island, if there's a group to look at, it's yellow. And again, if we're talking binary, we're talking about like this is the objective group that we have to worry about. I think we could lose a yellow. So I definitely see that. Um, so I'm actually going to go into my next pick because it kind of piggybacks off of that. I'm going to put Sam here. Sam is lucky to be as high as he is right now. I mean, he earned it. I don't know how, but he earned it. I feel like, again, he has rebuilt some relationships. He's done his damage control. I think he's not in a horrible spot. Again, I think the worst part for him is the fact that he is part of the most unified group. But other than that, I don't feel horrible about Sam.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to get in Sam's way is I think Sam is going to keep trying to be the top dog of the season. I mean, he's already talked about that in some confessionals. He just kind of seems like he's okay with being that guy, and I think that that will be somebody who is easy to target, and especially if Kyle is now gone, if Kyle gets voted out, I mean, Sam might be one of the most physical players left. And, if Sam strings together some immunity wins on top of this little group he's trying to build, like, he could very well be a zero vote finalist. I think he's got zero vote finalists locked up if he's there, depending on who's there. There are some people that. But the only thing is I feel like in order for him to get there, he has to surround himself with his allies, and I feel like his allies are not going to have to be on the jury to vote for him. And also, I think it really depends, because, like, what, you're going to sit with next to Andy and win? No. Then who's Andy going to vote for in the finals? Probably not you. He might, but probably not, right? So I feel like he's definitely got a little bit of a battle, which is why I think he's going to try to be a little bit more of a loud type threat here, which I do think will bite him in the butt. So I don't hate his placing on our list.
Okay. I gotta say though, because you calling out the zero finalists, I was gonna call my shot. I think the last three that we have here, I might put money down that that's our final three. I just
Ooh.
I don't see why anybody comes after these people. I mean, again, they could have a Genevieve-esque episode where they become a massive threat in the span of 90 minutes, but I just don't see it. I think these three are all incredible spots. It's really hard to say who's better than who. But yeah, I mean, shit, I'm putting my money on Teeny, Andy, and Caroline. So
Yeah. Um. Well, that being said, if this was T-ball, you have put the ball in the tee, and now I'm standing behind it with my little wiffle ball bat, getting ready to like knock it out of the park on who I
exactly.
think is in third place on our top rankings of the week. And I gotta tell you, I am going with Teeny.
Okay. Okay. Lay it out. I mean, again, I can't. You could put these three in any order, and I would kind
Yeah,
of be chill with it. But
I think you could put them in any order. However, I think Teeny. I feel like whereas if you look at the other two, right? You look at. I feel like they have done a good job of doing one of two things: either laying low or getting in so well socially that you can be the most likable person and no one cares. And those are what the two people ahead of Teeny have both done, in Carolyn and Andy, respectively. Both of them, neither one of them are in any trouble, in my opinion, of going home. Because even if you, like, it's exactly like I said, even if you say, hey, the only way I think Andy gets caught here is if someone is like, hey, you know, every single person likes Andy. Like, but I feel like Andy's done so well socially that I don't know if that'll happen. And Caroline, she's just doing such a really good job of just being such a low profile player, and strategically, I think she's got a very good shot at this. And Teeny, she's already had her name up once. Teeny has already been is already a very sympathetic and likable person. I think if Teeny gets to the end, I think Teeny has a real shot at winning, and so I feel like Teeny is here because I think she will go home next.
okay. All right. And yeah, can't be mad at that. I'm gonna go ahead and put in second place and ultimately choosing our head honcho for the week. Do we have a name for the person at number one each week?
Uh, King of the Scrapyard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I
Let's
like
let's
that.
see. Yeah, the king of the scrapyard. You're the top. You're the junkyard dog of our scrapyard. You're king of the
Yeah.
rock. You're the
You're
top.
the
You're the cream of the crop.
you're the magnetic lift. But no, I'm gonna put Caroline here. I think for me, this really comes down to positioning in their original tribes as well as the group overall. Again, I think yellow is kind of sitting in the best spot, quote unquote, which means technically they should be targeted. But if they do come on after yellow, I think they come after Rachel. I think they come after Sam. I think that protects Andy. I think Andy is the most insulated player. So that leaves him at number one. And I have nothing bad to say about Caroline. I just feel that much better about Andy's position here.
No, that's how I feel. Like I don't feel really bad about anybody in our top three. I just feel the best about Andy. And
Yeah.
he's and I know we say this every single episode, but the guy has just done a complete 180. At least as far as, his place in the game and his rankings in not just our podcast, but quite frankly in my heart. And all things are pointing upwards for him. And I don't know who's going to be the guy that beat him. I don't know who's going to do it. He's got so many allies. He's so good strategically. He feels like he both is a master at letting other people play hard and make their moves while also being the reason why the moves are happening. It's just a very good game, and it's his to lose at this point.
What's been his biggest mistake since the merge? I mean, has he really made one?
Since the merge, that's a good question.
It was kind of
I don't
maybe being
know.
on the outs of yellow, and like they kind of were using him as the decoy, but that wasn't really any fault of his.
Yeah.
That's like the only blemish I can come up with. He didn't find any money for the auction. There's something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe you're just really bad at finding money, but
Yeah,
you'll probably be better at finding
me
it on
too.
finale night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I also am really bad at finding money.
I just can't find it anywhere. I've been
Yeah,
looking
I'm
like
looking
crazy.
high and low. Maybe Jeff should hide them throughout my house in little parchment paper, and I'll just find
Exactly.
them, and that's how we'll buy groceries. Anyway, that is our rankings for the Scrapyard this week. I think our list is quite frankly getting better and better with every passing week. I feel like we're really nailing this personally.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel good about it. Any predictions for next week? Anything you're looking forward to? Is it a ruse? This Sue versus Kyle? Is that really is one of them gonna go home? Truthfully,
I mean, it's take all of those sneak peeks for next episodes with grains of salt. I could see it being a storyline in the first like 10 minutes of the episode, and then I could see Kyle winning immunity and then being like,
yeah,
okay, new plan.
yeah, fair. I feel like they've been especially vague. Unless there's something like the auction. They're kind of overt with
Yeah.
what's gonna happen there. Other than that, I feel like it's often just shots of like, what's going on? Is this really gonna happen? Like, and it's like somebody runs to the forest. It's like you don't. It's very vague. These sneak peeks.
It's very vague shots and then somebody doing a very ominous quote like
Mhm.
it's either me or them, and then that's like the end of it, right? It's
Like,
some
whoa,
kind of like
easy there.
yeah, oh lines are drawn. Like it's
Like,
just it makes me think something's crazy is gonna happen, and then it's nothing. But well,
okay.
who knows? Who knows? Let's see. If I have to go off of what I have seen off of this episode, I would say Genevieve goes home next week. That would be my unless Kyle doesn't win immunity, but if Kyle wins immunity, I think she goes home here.
Okay. Yeah, she's hanging
I
on
think
by a
she
thread. So.
I think she puts on a hell of a fight. But I do think she's got a bit of an uphill battle ahead of her here, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, Chad, let me ask
What's
you
your
this.
prediction?
Well, Kyle, if he loses,
All
then
right, not
then
really the
Genevieve, yeah.
sexy take, but it's a logical take.
It's not, yeah. I wanted to ask you, Chad, since we're kind of at the end here. Are there other shows you're watching right now, reality TV or otherwise? Do you have like something you want to recommend to people?
I mean, I'm not. I mean, other than like the reality shows I'm watching on rerun. I'm like halfway through the current mole. I haven't finished it yet.
Okay,
I
it's good.
admittedly, I'll tell you, I discovered that they have all of the old Pokemon seasons on Amazon Prime, and so that's what I've been watching. With my time, I actually just watched like 6 of them in a row before I got
Heck
on this
yeah.
podcast today. So yeah, are you a Pokemon fan? What's your Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle? Who do you pick? Let's
I think
upset
I'm.
people today.
Yeah. Well, let me preface by saying I'm not a big Pokemon guy. I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh. Didn't watch the shows a whole lot. I guess I had some of the cards. Like, I know a lot about Pokemon through osmosis, right? Like, I was raised in this culture, so I know who those
Yeah.
3 people are, and I'm gonna pick Squirtle.
Nice, nice. Squirtle's a good one. I think one of them is incredibly overrated, and the other one's Bulbasaur. So
Yeah.
I will be picking Bulbasaur. And we fuck Charmander. We can say it.
Damn.
That's what I want to say. Yeah, let me know in the comments who's your starter. But if you f around with Charmander, you better get ready to find out. That's all I'm gonna say. That's
You
all
did
I'm
not
gonna say.
have to make this many enemies right now, but I respect the passion.
I disagree. I feel like I definitely had to.
Okay, let's do a couple other things real quick. Hogwarts House.
Sure.
Yeah,
Hogwarts
what?
houses. Who cares?
Okay. Zodiac sign.
I guess Hufflepuff, but who cares? Is Harry
You like
Potter
how
even still relevant? Do people still like Harry Potter?
you like how I put astrology in with fictional stories? I'm gonna piss somebody off with that one.
Let's see.
Maybe we need to sign
Yeah,
off
yeah.
before we.
Well, do you have any other pop culture questions you want to ask me? Why don't you ask me? Let's see. Yu-Gi-Oh was cool. I liked Slifer the Sky
I
Dragon.
was gonna say that I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh guy than a Pokemon guy.
Yeah.
I like
Have you ever
Platoon
played any of
cards.
those? Ooh, yeah. My
Yeah.
favorite. I feel like my favorite original like anime Yu-Gi-Oh character was Pegasus because I like to talk like him.
Hell yeah, dude. The dude with he had the eye
Hello
and the
there,
yeah,
Yugi
yeah.
boy. The magic of Toon World. Yes. I see blue. I see white. I see the blue eyes Toon Dragon. Yeah, I like to pretend mm, what's his first name? Maximilian.
Yeah.
Maximilian Pegasus.
Do you
Yeah.
have the board that goes on your arm? I feel like you do after that whole performance
Oh,
evening.
I used to have a dual disc. I don't have a
Yeah.
dual disc anymore. I
That's
used
too
to though.
bad.
When those first came out, oh yeah, I used to stand across my yard and go with and I would have one on my arm, and then my brother would have one, and he'd stand across the opposite side of the field, and then we'd scream at the top of our lungs what our turns were, because obviously we can't hear each other because we were
Right.
so far away. And I would
Right.
lie all the time and say, "And I'm gonna summon this card," because how would he know what's in my
He
hand?
would
He
have
was on
no
the
idea.
opposite side of the
Yeah.
yard.
You
He'd
could
have no
probably just
idea.
look
Yeah.
through the deck and he wouldn't say anything. So,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
wait,
Is
are
it okay?
you
I
the
openly admitted to cheating as like a 12-year-old Yu-Gi-Oh
no.
player. I hope that doesn't get me banned in any social circles.
Important question though? Are you the older or younger brother?
Oh, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of three.
Yeah. Okay. I'm also the
Yeah,
older brother to my brother, so
nice.
I don't know
Yep,
what that
I got a
adds.
little brother and a little sister, so
Okay.
it's fun. But I'm the oldest, which means I get to be the person. I was like the trial kid, like the crash
Yeah.
test dummy, basically.
Were
Yeah,
the
like
other ones better or worse than you?
in like what way?
In all every
Um, Probably in like talent
This is like
wise.
such a subjective question.
Yeah. I mean, my brother's pretty talented. My brother,
Yeah.
like, we were like walking outside one time, and there was like a person who was having like a yard sale, and he had like an organ outside, and my brother like sat down and started playing a song on the organ out of nowhere, and I was
Yeah.
just like, huh? And he was like really into like magic tricks and card tricks, so he's way more talented than I am. I feel like I got lucky though with the looks, you know?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
I feel like they definitely had their best looking kid the first time.
Well said.
So, yeah, and I'd be willing to take that to the bank, quite frankly.
Okay, absolutely.
So,
What
you know
else,
what else I
Chad?
would take
You,
to the
do you
bank?
have any questions for me? I don't want to know what you're going to take to the bank.
Well, probably money to put in my account.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, probably that. Sorry, I'm looking at our Blue Sky account, so I have something to plug when we wrap up the
Oh,
podcast.
okay. Absolutely. Well, I can go ahead and
Yeah.
say, since you made the reality scrapyard one, I was like, I guess I gotta make one too. So I have my personal Blue Sky now made at the Michael over here. If anyone wants to check that out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone follow him and follow the podcast at Reality Scrapyard Podcast at realityscrapyard.bluesky.social. That's a mouthful.
What's up with the extra dots and
I don't know.
dot
I don't
social?
know.
Did they have
I
that
don't
all
know.
that? Yeah,
I
don't
feel
know
like
about
they definitely didn't. I feel like it was just a whole lot of extra, right? And
that.
I hate when people just like tack on extra things just for the sake of talking, right? It's like
Yeah,
when
exactly.
a podcast is trying to end and they just keep talking and talking and talking. They just don't know when to wrap it up, right? They just
I
don't
hope
know
people
when
like
to pull it in.
I hope people like our banter. Maybe you can let us know in the YouTube comments. Should
Yeah,
we
but
stay
also
on
if you
topic
don't,
more? Or is this
I
like, what do
will
y'all
be
want from
very
us?
upset.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if you
please
don't,
like
maybe keep it
us.
to yourself, because I'll
Hey,
cry. Yeah.
hey, do you guys like us? Can you let us know?
Yeah,
Hit us
yeah,
up on Blue
I'm a
Sky.
little baby. Yeah, I see blue skies. All right, I think that's it. Anything you want to
Yeah,
add before we put this thing to bed?
we've just been scratching at the surface. So yeah, I think it's time.
Yeah.
Well, good chats.
All right. Yes, of course. Tune in next week. And while you're checking us out, make sure you check out every other podcast on the Reality After Show Network. We have a lot of phenomenal hosts and a little bit of everything from basically any reality show you could think of to they've got a podcast all about nerdy shit, which is, as somebody like me and Michael, who are two big nerds, I mean, I co-sign nerdy shit, and we also have
Let's test them.
pro
Nerd
wrestling
podcasts. Tribe of Nerds.
Ooh, I would have let's
we need
let's have a nerd battle.
Trivia.
I'm down. Let's invite them on the Scrapyard.
Also, we're going to find out if they
Scrapyard.
We can invite them, but let's find out if nobody say anything. Let's find out if they listen to us. Probably not, but
good call. Yeah,
nobody.
Let's see if they're one of the 58. Yeah,
we're killing it, Chad.
Yeah. But anyway, that'll be it for us this week, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We will see y'all next time. Remember, everyone, stay scrappy.